Hey guys, I found this crown and I was thinking that it went well with the channel name, and so I put it on. Today we will be reviewing 21 balloons, and it's about a man who's trying to go around the world go around the Pacific Ocean in a hot air balloon, and he ends up on this island. And this island has a few strange things. So, I'm gonna be reading some of his encounters, like when he lands on the island and the things he meets on the island. A new citizen of Krakatoa. Nice name. After having slept for what must have been 4 or 5 hours, I found myself being gently awakened. I opened my eyes. My body was bright red from sun and sunburn. What? Oh, sun and sandburn. I looked up at what I thought was a man kneeling over me, shaking my shoulder and saying in perfect English, "Wake up, man. You've got to get some things on and get out of the sun. Wake up, wake up." I thought that this must be part of some delirious dream. The idea of a man who spoke perfect English on a small volcanic island in the Pacific seemed so odd. And yes, it actually is very odd. This island is very strange. I shook my head and opened my eyes again. There was a man kneeling over me. As I sat up, he stood up. He was handing me some clothes, and he was dressed in a most unusual manner. This man wasn't a native and didn't suggest an explorer or a traveler. He looked like an overdressed aristocrat, sort of a misplaced boulevardier, lost on this seemingly desolate volcanic island. He was wearing a correctly tailored white morning suit, if you can imagine such a suit, with pinstripe pants, a white ascot tie, and the white cork bowler. The suit he was urging me to put on was just the same as the one he had on, only in my size. That's creepy. They were able to Okay, so first of all, they saw him land and just left him in the sun and the sand getting a burn. They didn't help him. And while they weren't helping him, they left him to sleep after having slept for what must have been 4 or 5 hours. They left him to sleep for 4 or 5 hours while making him a suit. And they obviously measured him. They went outside and measured him, or else they wouldn't know what his size was. Also, here is the man. That's the man on the island. So yes, a very well-dressed aristocrat. Okay. "Am I dead?" I asked. "Is this heaven?" "No, good man," he answered. "This isn't heaven. This is the Pacific island of Krakatoa." "But I always thought Krakatoa was uninhabited," I told the gentleman in the white morning suit as I started painfully to put on the clothes he was handing me. "I always heard that the volcanic mountain made living on the island impossible. This is Krakatoa, all right. And we who live here are most pleased that the rest of the world is still convinced that Krakatoa is uninhabited. Hurry up, put on your clothes." I had put on the white pinstripe trousers and the shirt as the gentleman handed them to me. The shirt had starched cuffs, a small white starched dicky, and a detachable wing collar. I didn't bother putting on the collar and started rolling up my sleeves. "Let's go. Lead on," I said. "Come, come," said the gentleman from Croatoa. "You can't come and visit us like that. Is that the way you would call on respectable people in San Francisco, New York, London, or Paris? Roll down those sleeves. Put on this collar vest and coat. Good chap." It doesn't actually say good chap, but I thought he sounded like an Englishman. Is that what people from England say? I don't know. I'll have to look it up because I don't want to be racially insensitive. Okay. As he was saying this, he was smiling warmly to show he meant no ill feeling, but was merely setting me straight on Krakatoa's style and manners. "I'll admit," he continued, "that on the other islands in the Pacific, it is considered quite the thing to give up shaving, forego haircuts, and wear whatever battered white ducks and soft shirts are available. Here, we prefer a more elegant mode of life." I lost my sentence. "You, sir, he said, "are our first visitor. I am quite certain that you will be rather impressed with the way we live in the various aspects of our island." And yeah, that's his first encounter. They show him. They walk through the woods. He doesn't want to get off the bench because the island is rumbling. It's an earthquake caused by the volcano. And then they walk to the mines. Spooky. But not so spooky. 'Cause guess what's in the mine? A lot of diamonds. See all that? That's all that shine? That's diamonds. Crystals, gemstones. And then they walk through. They go to the house, and here's the house they're living in this barren island. And so, here. "The Bible tells us to build our houses on foundations of stone," he said. "On Krakatoa, we have found it necessary to to use an even stronger foundation. Our houses are built on a substructure of solid diamond boulders. Come, I'll take you out to breakfast." So, that is the picture of the first settler. He's going off the island on a raft, and he's gonna find people to settle the island in secret. And they have restaurants. They have what does it say? Tropical Diamond Restaurant. And they all have these sweet mansions. And so the story goes on. it shows them a lot of these stuff, and not only are they living in mansions, but they have all sorts of technology like reusable continuous sheets. We all came to Mrs. M's rescue with this amazing bed. It has continuous sheets. How does it work? I immediately inquired. Mr. F walked over to Mrs. M's bureau, opened the top drawer, and took from there a crank. He inserted the crank into a hole in the footboard of the bed and asked me to watch closely. He started to twist the crank, and the sheets started to move through the bed, passing on rollers through a sideboard on through the floor. When I twist this crank, explained Mr. F, the sheets pass through the sideboard down through the floor into the cellar. There they pass through a boiler where they are washed, then through a drying machine. They next pass through steam-heated rollers where they are pressed, and then come up through the floor, through the sideboard of the bed on the rollers, and back to the top of the bed. This continuous sheet is marked off in bed widths. Each morning, Mrs. M simply turns the crank until a bed width has passed from one side to the other side of the bed. This action starts the washing machines, diverts heat from the furnace to the drying machine, and while one length of sheets is being pressed, fresh hot white sheets are revealed onto her bed. Incredible, I exclaimed, but what about blankets? Good Lord, man, we never use blankets here. We are just a few miles below the equator. Good chap. Yes, he is. I really want to say he's English, but it never mentioned England, I don't think. 1 second. Let me go back to a certain place in the time. Is that the way you would call on respectable people in San Francisco, New York, London, or Paris? Oh, I guess he could be English. London. Yay. Okie dokie. Oh, and then at the end of the book, the volcano erupts, and yeah. So I personally thought this was a really good book, and he's just stranded in paradise. 1 second. That was a text from someone, and he's stranded in paradise, and he has to escape paradise because an earthquake. There is an earthquake, and he has to escape the earthquake with all of his newly found friends. I thought this was a really good book. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. You don't have to comment. And bye.